Hello everybody and welcome back to another Life Coach Apparel series for our workout demonstrations. Last time that you were with us, we showed you how to do a squat and showed you perfect technique, showed you how to free up the joints. Today we're going to go ahead and show you how to do a thruster, one of my personal favorites because it ties two exercises together, front squat and then shoulder to overhead, or as most people know, a shoulder press. It's a really awesome movement that we use in CrossFit, but I believe that everybody should put this tool in their tool belt when you're at the gym. So basically I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the movement, how to break it down, and if there are some kind of like mobility restrictions, I can show you how to free those areas up because a lot of people can't get into a good front rack position or they can't get down into a front squat. So first I'll show you how the movement looks, what it looks like, and then I'll show you how to go ahead and maybe fix some mobility restrictions that I see a lot in the clinic as well. Okay, so first things first, let me go ahead and just demonstrate for you real quick what a thruster looks like. So the position that you want to be set up in is that squat position again, feet about shoulder width apart, slightly pointed out. I want you to go ahead and get the bar into the front rack position. A lot of people think that this is the front rack position, and you can do this for a thruster. I prefer to opt for the elbows down version. It's a lot more efficient when you're pushing that bar overhead, okay? In order for the movement to count in a traditional CrossFit setting, the bar has to pass from shoulder to overhead, and there must be part of your ear visible through your arms. And I want to make sure that you realize that you're supposed to be keeping that rib cage tight the entire time. So go and watch that squat video, get that squat sequence down where you squeeze the butt, tighten the abs, and then I want you to brace, okay? So for those of you, either you have your elbows pointed down more or you keep them up, I want you to get into that squat formation, and I want you to go ahead and get into that perfect squat that we like to do in CrossFit, where the hip crease is slightly below the knee. So you're here, and from this position, we push the bar overhead. What we're doing is we use the momentum from the leg drive to push the bar overhead, and we finish out with our shoulders, okay? So we're down, up. We're getting that head back and out of the way and pushing it back through. So back, out of the way, because if you look from the side, you'll notice that the bar goes straight up and down, okay? Here, and you absorb, there. You want a path of least resistance, okay? You don't want the bar to come way out here and then have to fight to get it way back overhead. You're not doing front shoulder raises with this. You're just trying to be as efficient as possible, and the best way to do that is a nice, clean, straight line, okay? So some things that we might see mobility-wise that I see a lot with my patients, I see a lot of people who can't get into a proper squat, either because they don't have the ankle mobility or the hip mobility, and they're compensating by leaning forward a lot. So a good thing to do is to free up those hips. You could do this the runner's position in yoga. I want you to make sure you keep that back nice and straight. You're gonna go ahead and plant your hand on the foot that's forward, and you're just gonna go ahead and search around in certain areas that might be really tight. I don't want to see this where you're sacrificing your back to get the form. If you need to, put your foot up on a box and do the exact same thing, and just try and free up that hip. If you need to take a band to distract that hip out, so you have a band, say, set up on a rig or something, you'll pull that hip out and you'll get around just opening up those hips. Another reason people can't get into a squat, typically this is an easy test for you. You put your feet together and squat down. If you can't do that, you have an ankle impingement. Something is happening within an ankle joint. So something to help free that up, I like to do obviously calf stretches, taking the band, hooking it behind, and going ahead and working in those positions to where you can free up that ankle. Another nice little ankle mob to free up the calves. For your warm-up, you can get into downward dog and pedal. I like to incorporate a lot of yoga positioning in order throughout all of my daily workouts. I like to either warm up, cool down with the yoga. Really helps to free up the joints, because if we can't get into that perfect squat position, we're not going to be efficient and we're going to get injured. So we really have to start thinking about how the body should move. So when we squat, we have to think about that bracing sequence again. We have to consider a nice straight bar path and up. The shoulders are also a limiting factor. If we don't have that 180 degrees shoulder flexion, typically we're going to be sacrificing somewhere else. Whether we're overextending in the back here, so that we reach that position. So working on opening up the thoracic spine with the foam roller, just going side to side, opening that up, extending. Also, some shoulder to overhead, using the band to distract the shoulder out and work on stretching out the lats and things like that. I'm just giving you a really brief overview. I'll show you other demonstrations on how these work later on. But the thruster workout that I really want you all to do today, there's different variations that you can use. You can either use a barbell, either with weight on it if you're advanced. I don't recommend jumping into something like that. I would recommend maybe just doing the movement, just doing the squat, pressing overhead. You can use soup cans, you can use really light weights. Whenever you use the light weights, you obviously don't want your elbows way up here. The weight's gonna be falling back and it doesn't make any sense. So having those elbows stacked underneath the wrist is a way better option, which is what I like to do with the bar anyway. So you're here, push, up, same concept. You can use really heavy dumbbells if you're advanced, obviously, or you can use kettlebells. Get them up, here, press. You're using that leg drive to go ahead and cause the upward momentum of the weight. So the workout of the day, the workout that I want you to incorporate, I want you to do only 10 minutes, every minute on the minute. So you have a running clock. People who do CrossFit know this, people who don't, every minute on the minute, you do 10 thrusters. So from the squat to overhead 10 times, rest for the remainder of the minute, and you do that for 10 minutes. So yeah, I look forward to sending you more videos on mobility, on exercises. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Look forward to hearing your comments. Have a great day.